Good day, class. My name is Trecia Sylvester. The case I have chosen is titled American Financial Cooperation. I will begin by giving a background on the case. Betty Powell is the manager of the Human Resource Department for American Financial Cooperation. Betty received a project from the Vice President's brokerage department to complete a report for this department. They were given 6 weeks notice. Upon receiving the project, Betty then delegated the project to her subordinate named Don Adams. Betty met with Don. They discussed the deadline of the project. He assured Betty that the project will be done within the time frame, at least by the due date. Okay? After being away from the office for 1 week, Betty returned to her desk and realized that the report is still outstanding. Don did not meet his deadline. Betty then called Don into her office and questioned him as to the reasons why the report was not done. Don had almost an excuse for every question Betty had. Don did not take any responsibility, basically, for the report that is not on her desk. So Betty got pretty upset. She got really upset of Don's lack of ownership of completing the report in a timely manner. At the end of the case, Betty told Don to ensure that the report is in her hand by noon the following day. So I will now move into the first question. The question has two parts. The first part, what did Betty do wrong prior to the meeting? Betty waited until she returned to the office to notice that the report was late. That's the first thing. Betty went to her training for 1 week out of the 6 weeks. Betty could have asked Don for follow-up while she was there, so it would not have to be so much of a surprise to her when she came back from her training. Betty did not arrange a strict time frame to ensure the timely completion of the report. Betty was fully cognizant of the fact that Don has been late with prior reports. Therefore, Betty did not re-emphasize the importance of the report and its due date. Although she had mentioned it, I had mentioned earlier, she didn't mention it to Don that they have 6 weeks to get it done. But it's my understanding when you're dealing with a subordinate who has a track record of being late on the report, you need to really stress on it, really focus on it. Let them understand that it's 6 weeks to get it done. Therefore, Betty should have put something in place, basically, to ensure that the report was done and she's on top of it. Because 6 weeks, Betty had training for only 1 week. Therefore, Betty was present, most likely in the office for 5 weeks. Another thing I believe what Betty did wrong prior to the meeting, it was a bit of lack of professionalism from Betty, in that Betty could have maintained open communication with Don so that he'll know that she's a professional, she needs to get it done. That is why she's asking him questions. Probably also it could have been ineffective delegation skills, because when you are aware of your subordinate's strengths and weaknesses, you harness on the strengths. So basically, Betty could have assigned the project to probably another subordinate who she knows could really get the work done. The second part to question 1, what could have been done to avoid missing the deadline? Betty could have established a benchmark for Don. For instance, I believe that Betty could have established a probably 1 week follow-up meeting with Don so that she could be aware of any questions he may have, any difficulty he may encounter, so that they could put something in place instead of waiting for the last hour, the last minute to realize, oh, we had so much problems at hand. Betty could have implemented a prior due date plan as a checkpoint to ensure the report is on target. Betty herself, I believe, could have been getting a report. It's a 6 week time frame, so probably the first week, second week. So she just have a draft, basically, to see where he's at. Is he missing anything? Did he receive everything? Because sometimes he could believe he's working along pretty fine, but by Betty checking the report with him as he moved along, could have eliminated a lot of mishaps. What could have been done to avoid missing the deadline? Delegating more effectively. Ensure sufficient staff or interns are assigned to the project from the beginning. Throughout the case, Don mentioned that he didn't have enough help. He didn't have more clerical assistance. So by meeting with Don throughout the 6 weeks or during the 6 weeks, Betty could have basically assigned an intern to assist him, or another staff on the subordinate level probably to assist him. Also, they had to maintain open communication between Betty and Don. It seems like when the project was dropped off to Don, like it was assigned to Don, that was the end of it until the submission date. Due to the urgency of the report, Don could have left a more detailed voicemail message for Betty. Throughout the case also, Don had mentioned that I did reach out to you, Betty, until you to call me. In a case like that, the urgency, the importance of the report, Don could have left more of a detailed message for Betty to let her know to please call me back as soon as possible as it relates to this case. He mentioned the case, he mentioned the report he's doing for which department. So when Betty has that voicemail, she will definitely be on it, because you know it's at the end of the day, it is her responsibility. I now move on to question 2. Part 1. What did Betty do wrong in the meeting itself? Betty practically diverted from the major issue at hand. Betty used that opportunity, I believe, to talk about everything that is going wrong or was going wrong, and probably she did not even address before. And this meeting was to deal with the project. Betty had the opportunity. I mean, it's already a terrible case. It's already late. Betty used this opportunity to talk about his incompetency. Okay, but you are aware of his incompetency as a manager. So what did you do to probably prevent that or to help the situation? Betty mentioned issues of Don not adhering to prior deadlines. So you're fully aware of the prior deadlines he did not meet. This is not the time for that. Basically, to me, you have to put something in place so that, or talk to him about prior meetings another time, and just focus on this one at the moment, because from my understanding, subordinates does not like, a subordinate will not like you just keep piling issues on them when relating to this. We are only talking about this situation here. Betty took the opportunity to belittle Don. Betty mentioned of his desk being untidy for the whole company. That means Betty was fully aware of his desk was untidy, but she did not mention it to him. But because the situation is currently bad, she's just adding more to it. So I think all that went wrong in the meeting, and by doing all that, it would not help him speed up the report. He might just feel really sad about it and may not even be motivated from that meeting to complete the report. Betty continually interrupted Don's conversation. Let him speak. At the end of the day, he's your subordinate and you still have to give respect. The report was not completed, it's true. But you give him the opportunity to speak instead of just blurting in and be like giving it sarcasm. It doesn't come across right. Betty did not maintain professionalism with her subordinate, as I have just mentioned. Part 2 of question 2. What could have been done to make the meeting more effective? First, Betty needs to realize the onus of the report is her responsibility. Yes, you have, as a manager, you are given the task. Then as a manager, you delegated the task to a staff. That doesn't mean the responsibility was automatically removed from Betty. Betty had the responsibility to follow up with the subordinate to make sure he's on track. Sometimes it's a task probably he don't know what to do, basically. So sometimes it takes more time. Probably Betty could have streamlined the process for him, at a much smoother pace. So what could have been done to make the meeting more effective is first Betty changing her mindset, her mindset on thinking that, oh, just blaming him. Yes, I'm not saying he's not responsible. He is responsible. But the bottom line, Betty is responsible for submitting the report correctly on time. Betty also needs to ask Don to bring the reports in a meeting so that she can start reviewing the process. I think Betty could have asked Dawn to bring a copy of the report to even see if the report has been started and to probably review. So at least when you submit the report, it's already late. It cannot be late and wrong. So I think that could have been helpful in the meeting by bringing the copy of the report. Let's just see what you have so far and how we could work on it. At least when you submit the report, it's already late, which is terrible, but it needs to be correct. Another question, part 3. What should Dawn have done to be more effective? Dawn could have done more effective planning. Dawn, he already is aware of the issue of his being late. Well, the manager is aware, Betty is aware he's been late. He could have planned ahead of time and let him know, okay, I'm delegating the morning part of my work day for this project. I'm going to follow up with this division, ask questions. If not, I'm going to CC the division manager and CC my boss, Betty, so that she's aware, she's kept in the loop, basically. What should have been done for Dawn to be more effective? You could have asked for assistance the moment he got stuck on the project. He didn't have to wait until Betty asked him, what is the status of the project? Where is the project? To have the excuse of, oh, I didn't have enough clerical assistance. That's not a time for the clerical assistance to help speed up the report. You had the opportunity to talk to Betty, so all that could have been done to be more effective. Dawn also could have been more proactive to keep Betty informed of the project. Even so, at the end of the day, Dawn needs to be aware that it's his job that is on the line also. So he's going to take the initiative and speak to Betty, send her emails, send her detailed voicemail so that she's aware of what is happening, so she can make the necessary arrangements to help him push forward. Dawn also needed to prepare himself to be more efficient and effective by proper planning and scheduling his workday, as I mentioned earlier. Dawn needs to take full responsibility that the project was not done by the due date, and this is important. If Dawn has an excuse for everything, Dawn probably diverting from the issue is like, basically it's like literally take responsibility that the project is not done. And that is the bottom line. And what can be done now to make sure it's correct and we submit it, and what can be done in the future to make sure the project is done on time. So I'm thinking that what should have been done to make it more effective, all those would have helped Dawn. Those things would have helped Betty also. Open communication is also important on both ends. It really seems like that's how it came across in the case. It seems like when the project was handed from the VP division to Betty's desk, and Betty's delegated it to her subordinate named Dawn, it seems that that was the end of the communication there until Betty realized the due date for the project. So I think on both ends, yes, Dawn could have been more effective. Also, Betty could have been more effective. Betty, before her meeting, Betty had training for 1 week, probably the 6th week. So that means Betty was present or in the office for 5 weeks. What communication was done during that time to make sure the project is on schedule? So all that could have been done to be more effective. This is the end of my case analysis. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.